Back here again with the Matt Craft and just the average bass guy. So a lot of people do videos and their boats are all, in good condition. And like I said, I've restored this whole boat. I've got tackle all over this boat. However, I want to bring up just the average bass guy. So I take a trip to Academy Sports because, most bass fishermen go to Academy Sports. So, the wife asked me, how long are you going to be there? And, what are you buying there? So I had to go to Academy Sports and just replenish today. So I'm going to do an unveiling of the latest Academy bag here. And this is going to kind of dump it out here. Just to kind of show you the latest baits that are working for me and, everything else I got going on here. So the big thing is, you kind of go to these places and you try to figure out what you're going to get. I'm a big plastics guy. You got a lot of these guys out here, they're throwing these chatter baits right now down here in the south on Eufaula. I've had a lot more success, just sticking to the confidence baits, the crank baits and the spinner baits and, even a frog right now. A lot of guys aren't thinking about a frog, but it just takes that right pattern. So I kind of stick to it. So I kind of went into a different realm here, and obviously I had to pick up some Lucas Oil ethanol for the boat just to make sure I could get it running right. But as far as baits, let's talk about a little bit of baits. I've got a spiel of stuff here. However, I'm going to go over kind of the reasoning behind all of this and why I use certain colors down here in the south and why I'm bringing this North Carolina style of fishing down here to mainly Walter F. George, or as most people call it, Lake Eufaula. And one of the reasons I've been successful, I like to throw these KVD series square bill crankbaits. All right, these obviously you have different levels and different types, but this 1.5 KVD crankbait, especially in a Tennessee shad color, coming from North Carolina, Tennessee shad color works really well on Sharon Harris Lake and Jordan Lake back home. So coming down here, you don't see a lot of people throwing this style bait. They like the more of the gizzard shad and the shiner colors here. So successfully that Tennessee shad square bill, obviously they're in, multiple depths. And these are just some extra ones I picked up today to, kind of backfill the tackle project. Upcoming here with the post-spawn spat patterns, I tend to throw like a Spook Junior or a KVD Sexy Dog. All right, there's multiple colors. I've got quite a few colors going on here. Same thing with the hidden one knocker spooks now. That's a little bit better than the Spook Junior that I would normally use in like a silver and black pattern. However, they're a little bit harder to find now. And then these H2O walking baits. These are new on the market. A lot of people don't, they overlook them. They're a little cheaper bait at your local bait store, i.e. Academy. But they have that feather tail on the back, and sometimes they're a little bit medium-sized walking bait that's going to get you those bait fish type. You're looking for the size of the bait fish, the pattern off of your points and your flats on where you would normally run a lipless crankbait. Maybe first thing in the morning they're going to start to blow up on that top water action that everybody's waiting on. So we got a couple of those. We got like the Sexy Shad style pattern that they come up with, and obviously I've got some Power Pro V2 line here, 50 pound. That's for my flipping frogs in those grass mats. But on a different note, let's get into plastics, because this is where I'm gonna really make the difference, and this is kind of how I sort it out. Because everybody wants to throw a crankbait. Everybody wants to throw a spinner bait. Everybody wants to throw those reaction baits. However, when you slow it down a bit down here in the South, you just got to know what colors to use, what types of bait to use, when to use them, what clarity of water. You're getting the whole spiel. But I can tell you now, I'm going to give you the secret to what I've been doing down here on Lake Eufaula. I'm producing 5 fish for 20 pounds in 30 minutes of being on the lake. First thing in the morning. Everybody wants to throw a buzzbait. Everybody wants to throw a frog. Everybody wants to throw a belated jig. But I'm going to give out the secret. Now, what it is, you're going to have these super flukes. Alright? A super fluke. Excuse me for dropping them. I'm just that average guy, Matt Craft, average bass guy, drinking beer in my garage. You're going to have these super flukes. A little bit bigger fluke. You're going to obviously catch a little bit bigger fish. However, normal size of the bait fish right now coming out of the river. Alright, so you're going to have multiple colors of these. And then you're going to have a little bit smaller style. Alright, I like to fish these around the grass lines. If the bass aren't active, they're not really pushing on the frog, they're not hitting near the main points on the grass lines, I'll switch to a little bit smaller shad. Very similar to the different types of bait fish right now in Eufaula. I'm not going to name the one shad I'm going to pick the color off of, but if you can see in the camera, you might be able to pick out what color it is. Now, everybody thinks lizards are summer pattern. Late spring, summer pattern. What I'm going to tell you is, I have multiple lizards. I have everything from 6-inch with a chartreuse tail, June bug colored lizards with a chartreuse tail. Then I move up to a Mag 2 or a Magnum lizard. Alright, this works better on your rock walls with a little bit of current. You're in 5 to 6 foot of water. The current's pushing up into the rocks. You're gonna have a lot better success. Alright. I also like to throw them in the watermelon seed color. Alright, these are natural colors to the water. However, water's a little dingy, a little stained. You're gonna be a little better off with your watermelon seed. Water's a little clearer. You're gonna want to go with your June bug. Now, conditions get a little crazy. So, what are we gonna do? You know, what's old Matt Craft, the average bass guy, you know, you always have these confidence baits that everybody talks about. So, what do we do? So, you can never fail. You can never fail with the good old Zoom Mag 2 watermelon seed worm. Alright. Texas rigged, 3/16 ounce, 1/4 ounce weight, around the rock banks, around the grass lines. However, this isn't a bait you want to pitch into the grass line. It's a bait you want to run parallel to the grass line. You have to find out that transition period on where the grass changes from your taller grasses, your hydrillas, and stuff like that, to where it's going to drop off. But the Mag 2 worm is one of the best baits on the market that is forgotten about. Watermelon seed, June bug, red shad, tequila sunrise, those are going to be your main colors depending on what time of year it is. Okay, so Matt Craft, the average bass guy, what do we do when fishing's tough? There's a lot of pressure. We want a bait that's going to be a little smaller profile that we can fish around those grass mats. I like to go with a fairly new bait. It's the Z-Crawl by Zoom. They got them obviously in June bug and watermelon seed red, green pumpkin. You know, you have all these different colors that you can throw. So those baits are, you know, tougher fishing days. You have your tournaments on Saturday, Sunday, Fridays. Those are baits you can fish on a Monday after all these tournament days, and you're still going to catch fish. You're still going to catch 4.5, 5 pound fish in the right areas. You got to look for those drop-offs, those 4 to 5 foot flats coming off the grass line. But that Z-Crawl is underestimated. A lot of people like to throw a woolly booger by Yum or a a beaver tail or any of these other strike king baits that they have, or Guggen baits now on the market, I go old school. I go back and I think about when I was growing up as a kid. What were the baits that I used to use when I wanted to catch a big fish? I still stick with Zoom. Zoom is the #1 bait company in the United States. It's based right here out of Georgia, and I will continue to fish those Zoom baits regardless of today's market because they continue to produce fish for me. I'm not promoting Zoom. It's what works for me. Excuse me. Now, in the means of, everybody talks about, is it frog time? So I will do a whole nother video later on this week about, is it frog time? However, I will promote. I'm not promoting the company because I'm not sponsored. However, if you throw a frog because you think it's the time of the year to throw a frog, and you're not getting the results you want, you're throwing a Spro, Styles frog, black and speckled greenback, you're throwing a weighted frog in the grass, but they're not quite blowing up on the frog like you would like. I highly recommend switching to a 3/0 Iwu-G Gamakatsu hook with a horny toad frog from Zoom. Depending on what color, based off if it needs to be natural, I like to throw a June bug, color the tails in chartreuse, scent marker, whatever your combo may be. If they're not hitting that topwater frog like you would like it to hit. Lately, down here on Eufaula, this horny toad frog, even across open water, once I bypass the weeds and the lily pads, I'll run it across open water, and I've had luck, 2.5, 3 pound, keeper fish are gonna blow up on it on open water. So, once again, this is just me unmasking, my last trip. Everybody knows, like I've said, this is the Matt Craft, the average bass guy. I'm not out, spending my life savings on what I like to do. However, I'm very successful down here in the South, and I have a plan. I'm catching 5 keepers within 45 minutes of being on the lake, based off of what I've explained in earlier videos, my profitable electronics, my own troubleshooting on how to fix the boat up and do these things. So, once again, the reason I created this was I want you guys on YouTube to reach out. You have these mechanics that are in their garage, they have every tool possible to fix something. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy in my garage. I drink beer. I have a full-time job. I'm supporting my family. My cars are parked in the driveway rather than in the garage. I just want everybody to understand you can make it work. I'm not looking to, fish major league fishing tournaments yet, but you can do it if you have a dream. So, I will post pictures on my YouTube channel once again of what the boat looked like when I bought it to where it is now. It took about a year for this process, but with under $3,000, I now have a bass boat that can compete in tournaments and feel confident about winning these tournaments. I have buddies that have my back. I have amateur fishermen that can be on the boat with me. By no means I'm a professional. However, I can compete with the rest of them. So if you have any questions on any of the Mercury motors, any type of boat, how to restore it, where to order your stuff from, I highly recommend bassboatseats.com, and I highly recommend Academy Sports Outdoors, Strike King Lures, Zoom baits, and 6th Sense baits. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you. We will be doing live shows once a week, and I will start trying to keep up with this channel. This is something new. However, I feel like it could benefit the people on YouTube. I know everything from the motor to the bow of the boat. So reach out to me. If you got any questions, I'm more than happy to make a new video on anything from replacing the injectors on the EFI to it replacing the contact points on the Power Drive Co-Pilot motor. I will fully disassemble them, and I will go through the whole process once again, even though my boat's working right, and I will help you out. So until next time, this is the Matt Craft, the Average Bass Guy. I'm going to drink a beer. Until next time, I'll see you later.